Hi, Dr. McAleer. This is Rhiannon Thornburg, and I am doing my final presentation via webcam. I'll be doing this presentation on the differences and similarities in rituals across Buddhism, Shinto, and Taoist religions. Okay, I'm just gonna dive right into it. I have my notes here. So, one thing that I noticed about Shinto and Taoist rituals is that they both are intended for purification. And that's a little bit different than Buddhism because Buddhist rituals are intended to enhance compassion, connection, and bring you closer to enlightenment. As far as Buddhist rituals go, the most commonly heard of is probably meditation, but there's a lot of other different Buddhist rituals as well, like mantras, which is basically chanting. I guess the most common one would be Om Mani Padre Om. That's what most people think of when they think of a Buddhist mantra. Another would be I found a really interesting article on prayer wheels. It says that prayer wheels are hollow cylinders inside which are placed scrolls of mantras that are mounted on rods and spun by Buddhists in lieu of chanting the mantra out loud. And I thought that that was really interesting because they place as much emphasis on a written mantra as they do on a spoken mantra. Another one would be pilgrimages to places where Buddha lived. You see that in Christian religions and Jewish religion as well. So yeah, pilgrimages are of really great significance, and I don't think it's necessarily in worship of Buddha. It more seems to be that the journey is supposed to bring about sort of hardship that you have to overcome. So if you've been walking for a really long time and your feet are sore and you're thirsty and you're hungry and you're tired, then the challenge is then to meditate or try to go into that state of enlightenment to get past those physical struggles. So that was interesting. In Shinto rituals, Shinto is the national religion of Japan, so Shinto rituals are always a component of festivals and holidays in Japan. It's become such a deep part of their culture to have Shinto and the Kami, and so it's their rituals are of national importance as well as religious importance. They're usually performed by a male priest with a female assistant. In Buddhism and Taoism, I didn't really notice a distinction among the genders performing the rituals, but in Shinto, there's a female assistant to a male priest, and the female is usually a shaman. And all of Shinto rituals are designed for purification in order to commune with the kami or the gods or the deities. So the direct goal is to commune with the ancestors, to commune with something larger. And that's not something you see in Buddhism either, because Buddhists don't have a god. But in Taoism, sorry, let me pull up my thing. A moment. Yeah, so in Taoism, it's also for purification and invocation of the deities, and in that sense, their ritual are more like prayers. So in Taoism, there's two types of rituals. There's rituals performed at funerals or periodic times, like rites of passage. And interestingly enough, these are often done with Buddhist priests, even though the Taoists Buddhists aren't the same thing. And then the second type would be rituals for the community. I enjoyed reading about the rituals for the community because they last for several days. They're very expensive, and the money is raised by the individual communities. And they are done every 3, 5, or 12 years. They're really strict about these rituals, so over the course of the week where they're doing community rituals, there can't be a glitch. There can't be like a misstep, you know, like I can stutter in this video and it's okay, but if you stutter in recitation, or if you take the wrong step at the wrong time, then, well, I don't really know what the consequences of that would be, but it's really, really important to the Taoist religion that each step be performed in succession and with the correct words and dances and music. These celebrations, these rituals kind of remind me of celebrations. There's special musicians that are hired for Taoist rituals. There's dancing, and then there's recitation, lighting of incense, and yeah. So it says here that the heart of Taoist ritual for the community is conducted by a great master and 4 of his assistants. Okay, I'm just going to read this because this is a good summary. One of these assistants heads intricate and complex processions and dances and is responsible for knowing the entire sequence of rites that make up the full ritual. Another prepares in advance every communication with the celestial bureaucracy that is used during the course of the entire ritual, and recites all of the invocations and consecrations and texts of purification, elevation, and confession. So, I think that in Shinto and Taoist ritual, there's not much wiggle room. They're designed a certain way and they're performed a certain way. Whereas with Buddhist ritual, you can basically take, you know, some personal freedom there and utilize what you've been taught and what you've learned in whatever way most benefits you and seems to bring you closer to enlightenment. So that's definitely a huge difference. There's a lot of discipline in devout Buddhists, obviously, like when we saw the video of the Buddhist monks in Japan cleaning the floors and doing, well, actually they were doing a Shinto ritual, but they do have a lot of discipline, and some choose to practice in a stricter environment, but for the most part, if I would like to meditate on a tire swing hanging from a tree, then I don't think they would mind at all. They wouldn't see it as sacrilegious or something because I'm not sitting on a cold hard floor. Or if I wanted to do a pilgrimage, I could probably go somewhere other than Buddha's holy sites. I could probably do a pilgrimage into the middle of the woods, and that would still, you know, be acceptable. That's not really the case with Shinto and Taoist ritual. Okay, we are already at 9.5 minutes. That went by really, really fast. I feel like I still have more that I'd like to cover, but I guess I'll give you my sources. So Patheos, it's a really cool online library. It's kind of like an encyclopedia. I got a lot of information from the religions library on Taoism and Shinto. And then I also used, let me see, Okay, sorry. I am not very organized, I guess. Plus, I just have too many different technological devices. Shinto rituals, I used Britannica. I also used worldreligionsprofessor.com, which was a pretty informative site. And then I got this really cool first-hand account on rituals in Buddhism from Insight Meditation. The Insight Meditation Center, sorry. And actually, I just want to say one thing about this article. I thought that it was really cool how the author of this article compared rituals in Buddhism and how they see them as a compassionate undertaking to simple rituals that we don't really consider that we do every day. Like, I know some people always say what they're grateful for before a meal, or like when you hug a friend when you see them. That's a ritual, and it does promote closeness. And so you said, like, they do simple things like bowing because it promotes compassion and humility when you first greet somebody. So yeah, I definitely recommend this article just because I thought that the first-hand account of rituals in Buddhism was really interesting. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for listening to my video, and thanks for a wonderful semester.